The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. We're going to have a special cameo appearance by our good friend Norm Winsky of Astro Trend at the first break in about 10 minutes. So stay tuned. He's got some very good information. And if you remember, he was the fellow on May the 15th. Let's try that again. May the 19th of last year, 2015, when we had Mercury going retrograde on a new moon, and we have a situation today with a new moon, and we have another set of planets that are doing the same type of thing. So Norm's going to be on to talk to us about that. The first thing we start out with each day, of course, is the German DAX, and as you can see, this is the shorter version going over the last few days. We're still up at this area, 14,800, which is the 78% retracement on the long-term chart that we posted yesterday. So it's still in this zone. It's down just a tad this morning. Very small amount, but it's still in a very strong uptrend, as you can see. It's one of the few indices on an international basis that has done relatively well. That one and the Japanese index both went to the 78% retracements. And of course, as you know, the U.S. markets have gone to the 1.618 retracements. Now, the next chart that I wanted to bring to your attention is the chart of the Canadian dollar. This is the U.S. dollar versus Canadian dollar. What I've done is overlaid the price of crude oil, which is the green bar. And as you can see, the correlation here is extremely high. And then on the blue bar, the blue line that you see there is the U.S. dollar index. So you see how important the price of crude oil and the price of the U.S. dollar is to the Canadian dollar. So as the Canadian dollar, this is actually the reverse of this. This is the U.S. dollar versus the Canadian. It's actually your Canadian dollars are worth less now. But we've broken out into new high ground now in this Canadian dollar after we had that 61% retracement just a week or so ago when we were looking at the buy down there at that 131 level. And now we've made the objectives in this. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a feeling of how these things operate, because it's money moving. That's basically what it is. And the instrument behind all this stuff, of course, are the foreign exchange markets. And that's the ones that are really the most fun to trade. And we're going to cover that euro just in a little bit. But first, we've got to get through the first part of the show. And the second part of the show, we'll cover the euro. It's very interesting what's going on in the euro at this particular point. So watch this U.S. dollar, folks. We're attempting to get through the 104 level. And if we get through that, that's going to push us a little bit closer to par, i.e. 100 in the U.S. dollar versus the euro. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to stop there. It just means that there's a whole lot of patterns that are forming in the euro at that particular time. So we want to watch that with a little bit of interest, of course. But we'll watch it very, very closely. We'll put that euro chart up now just since we were mentioning it, and you'll be able to see that this is the long-term pattern that we've been watching in the euro. And as we mentioned yesterday, you'll notice this little tiny 5-day rally that we've had here. It was virtually nothing, and we'll cover that in a little bit. But I wanted to cover a few other things. One of the features of today's show is going to be the work of Roger Babson. Roger Babson was an investor back in the. He was born in 1875. He was one of the smart guys. He was calling for a major top in the market in 1929. However, he started calling for that top in July. So he was a little bit early, but when he finally got it right, it was certainly good. Now, Babson went to MIT. That's something we have in common. I went to MIT. The difference is I went to MIT for lunch. He went there for an education. He was one of the first people to use mathematics in the market. And one of his things, as you can see here, this is from Wikipedia, he was really interested in the action and reaction in the works of Isaac Newton. What some of you folks don't know is that Alan Andrews, the fellow who brought out the pitchfork, the Andrews pitchforks, he actually studied under Babson back in the 30s and 40s when he was a young man. I met Andrews back in the 70s down in Florida. John Hill and I went down to visit him, and he was very, very similar to Bill Ehrman. He really didn't trade. He basically just studied the markets, but he did a lot of work with these particular things that we call the Andrews pitchfork line. And since we were listening to John Logan talk about the crude oil, you'll be able to see here one of these pitchfork patterns that he talked about. I'll bring this up so you can take a look at it here. You'll see that we do have this particular pattern. We were looking for 55.40 to come in. We got to 55.20, whether we're 20 pips off or not, I'm not sure. But this pattern still looks very good from a bullish standpoint. I have to agree with John. I don't like to, or Mr. Logan, I don't like to disagree with him at all. But this time it's pretty apparent that this is certainly looking like a market that wants to, work higher. It's not going to be easy, of course, because of the U.S. dollar, but we'll see if it's going to continue. Anyway, the pitchfork lines are basically, you're splitting particular highs and lows, and then you're connecting the dots. That's pretty much what you're looking at. Similar to a 20-man type line, but it's a geometric angle. That's what you're looking at. But if you'll put the patterns and ratios together with it, it gives you a lot more information as far as what you're looking at when you're watching these, because then it makes it a little bit easier to determine, which of these particular ones that you're watching. So I like to, fall back on the patterns and the ratios, and then if the pitchforks or the 20-man lines come in with me, that gives me a pretty good idea. But the patterns and ratios, get you to the promised land. It's always a bumpy ride, but you're still able to do that. So you want to watch that very, very closely. Someone's asked a question about the Hang Seng. Last night, the Hang Seng went down to the exact target of 21.50, and we closed 200 points higher. So that low has held in the Hang Seng so far. And since we're over this new moon, we would assume that this was probably be a pretty good bottom in the Hang Seng, and we could get a pretty substantial rally. But anything below 21,400 in the Hang Seng would be a very, very tumultuous move, I would think, to the downside. That would give a price target at 1.618, which would be down about another 10%. And remember, we're in the time frame of the year end, so the markets are slowing down as far as the volatility and also the amount of the volume that we're having. So these moves can be accentuated by just a very, very small order if there's no one on the other side of it. So you have to pay, pretty close attention to it. That's absolutely true of anything, but particularly true this week because we're looking at this new moon that we have right now, and that's important. Stay tuned for Norm Winsky of Astro Tand at the break for just a cameo appearance. 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry, powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I believe we have Norm Winsky of AstroTrend on the line. Norm, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning to you, and a happy New Year to you. Whenever you decide to, you don't actually do anything until New Year's Day with your New Year's, right? Correct?
I don't know what that means, Larry.
Well, I know you're Jewish, and Shana Tova is the Jewish New Year. Is it the same time of the as the U.S. New Year?
No, the Jewish New Year usually occurs in the fall.
Oh, well, missed that one, I guess.
Usually about September,
Oh, is that Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah?
Rosh Hashanah is the Jewish New Year.
Oh, Shana Vagan. Well, I
but
thought
I'm always up for a party, so,
Yeah, well, it doesn't Shana Tova in Hebrew mean Happy New Year?
Yeah.
Okay. We have a question before you get to your we have a question from Andrew, and that is, do you have anything on coffee? I think you had a real key date yesterday, didn't you?
I wasn't prepared for that. I thought we were going to talk about...
Oh, we are, but you know me, I like to throw a curveball, trying to be Sandy Koufax.
I've noticed that. You must learn that from who's your buddy there from Terre Haute, the famous baseball player?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tommy John.
Yeah, you might have learned that from him. I don't know.
Norm, in May of last year,
okay, I pulled out my calendar now. I got my calendar in front. Believe it or not, Larry, I can't memorize a whole month's worth of planetary data for all the markets.
I'm very upset. We might not have you as a guest anymore if you can't remember every single thing you do. I mean, give me a break.
All right, yeah, I did have the 27th was a big date for coffee, right?
Yeah, very good. Okay.
All right, make sure we get to talk about the new moon and Uranus coming up here, right?
You got it. You have the microphone, so fire away.
Oh, we're going to go ahead with that? Okay. So in the wee hours of tomorrow morning, that's the Thursday the 29th, I think it's, there's two events with just a few hours apart. We have a new moon and Uranus will be turning direct. Now let me draw a parallel between that and May 19th of 2015, like you alluded to earlier, Larry. That when these planets go, it's called a station point. When the planets do the Earth's relative motion to the other planets, these planets appear to, when you look out the night sky, because there's difference in speeds and so forth, relative motion, the planets look like they stop their motion for a moment and then reverse the direction. When they stop, that's called a station point, and then they turn to either go forward, which is called direct, or backwards, which is called retrograde. Now, back on the 18th, 19th of May, within one day, we had a new moon, and Mercury turned retrograde, and that turned out to be the high of the year. Okay? And now we have something potentially even more powerful. You have to understand that there's kind of a hierarchy of power among the planets. The planets that are close to the sun, like Mercury, that's like a little speedboat speeding around the sun. It takes 88 days to go around the sun. Now we have what we call the outer planets. There's a big jump in time between when we get to Mars and then when we get to, as we go out, you go from Mars to Jupiter. Mars takes a little bit more than 2 years to go around the sun. Then we have a big jump to Jupiter when it takes 11 and a half years to go around the sun. And the planets from Jupiter on out, those are called outer planets. Those are like big destroyers, big ships, and compared to little speedboats of the inner planets, you see. So those are like the big long-term cycles, generational waves and cycles and so forth. So when they do something, it's often even more powerful than the little speedy inner planets. So now what we have in the wee hours of Thursday morning, the 29th, we have Uranus turning direct. That's a station point. And we have a new moon, and they're just a few hours apart. I think they're like 3 hours apart. And I've already seen reports now of multiple earthquakes. I would not be surprised if you get some more earthquakes here in the next 24 to 48 hours. They had multiple earthquakes on the Nevada-California border, kind of near Carson City. And I was on Facebook, and somebody said, "Oh," when I posted that, "Oh, we have that here in Romania near Bucharest. We just had a series of earthquakes, so there's a rock and roll where the Earth is shaking a little bit now." So I would expect we've had a nice setup here that when we have these station points, it's a high batting average that the market will be at the high or the low of the month within one trading day. Now we've been going up, 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 and now I'm happy that we are going up this morning, and we are now testing the highs. So I think we have a potential for a setup for a high here in the next 1 to 2 trading days. My only caveat is this is occurring during the holidays, New Year coming into New Year's here, and there are artificial constraints on the marketplace at times, which tend to either suppress or delay the natural cycles. So even if this isn't dramatic here in the next day or two, it may spill over into January, and then we might get a big reversal in January. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well, we came down last year in January. We topped. We topped it later in December, I believe. But then on January 4th, I believe, is the day we started down big time. We had about an 8% correction in the market before it bottomed in February, and then had the explosive move up. I have one other question I'd like to ask you, Norm. On Mr. Trump's chart, is there anything on the chart that you see that would be negative for January the 20th, his inauguration
I'm sorry,
date?
Larry, but I have not studied that, so I could not address that question.
Okay, then
you got some curveballs here, Larry.
Well, I tell you why. I had a friend that was at a party for Christmas, and that happened to be in Washington, and there were some CIA types there. And one of the gentlemen mentioned that he was in the parapsychology division of the CIA, and one of his chief people said that there wasn't going to be an inauguration this year. And I thought maybe if there was something in the chart, that you saw that would be interesting. And believe me, I don't believe about 99% of that stuff. But when it came from the individual that told me, he doesn't. He has a sense of humor of a college professor. So it's really it was really amazing that he made a comment like this. So
well, if you'd like,
we'll
Larry,
see.
sometime I'll come on and we'll do a whole segment on Tecumseh's curse. Do you know about that?
He was an Indian. I remember that.
On that. What's that?
I know he was an Indian.
Yeah, and up near Lafayette there,
Uh-huh.
He went to Purdue for a while, I think, and
Sure.
about 30 or 40 miles from where I grew up. There's the battlefield for the Battle of Tippecanoe. So anyway, we
Ah.
don't really and then Tecumseh got his butt kicked, and then the legend is that he got mad, and that was William Henry Harrison, who was the
Mhm.
general at that battle, and that made him famous. And then he went on to become president, but Tecumseh put a curse on him, and then every president after that, for every roughly 20 years, when any president that was elected with Jupiter and Saturn conjunct died in office.
Wow. When's the next Jupiter Saturn
Well,
conjunction?
there's a caveat there. There's a bigger superseding rule to that. That occurred. Well, I didn't want to get into this whole thing because it involves kind of elaborate thing. But there's cycles within cycles within cycles.
Sure.
There was a cycle
why-
that began in 1840 when Harrison was elected, but that cycle kind of came to an end in 1980 when Reagan was elected.
We'll do
So
this at
anyway,
another time. Hey,
Are you going to have me back after the break so we can tell people how to
sure.
get on?
Have you? Absolutely. Let's do that. Stay with
All
us.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's nadex.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we have Norm Winsky from Astro Trend on the line. You want to go ahead and continue, Norm?
Should we continue with Harrison and The presidents?
Yes, please
You want
do
to talk about that?
Yes, talk about that president stuff
All
because
right,
we're in a
but I'm not
presidential
gonna go too
cycle.
long on that because maybe you'll have me back sometime and we can. It's probably a 10 or 15-minute thing, But anyway, so Harrison fought the Indians there in Indiana, just a little bit outside of Lafayette there, and it's now called Battleground, Indiana, but Battle of Tippecanoe. And that's where later on he became famous because he basically was responsible for getting the Indians out of Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what's that? And so then later he ran for president, and that's what he used the campaign slogan. He got the nickname Old Tippecanoe, and and then he ran for president, and the slogan was Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of that, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That I've heard.
That's where that comes from, So anyway, I have a theory. There's no scientific basis for this whatsoever. I believe these cycles are interactive. In other words, the cycles aren't just acting on the people. The people are sometimes setting the cycles. So Mr. Harrison decided after he got elected president that he would walk to his inauguration on a cold and rainy day in Washington, D.C., and he got pneumonia, and he was dead in 40 days.
Wow. That I didn't know.
Oh yeah, I think he had the shortest term of any president we have, and so I believe that because of that, he set in motion that cycle that began in 1840. It's a sub-cycle of about a 960-year cycle, and so that was which lasts about 240 to 270 years. So for the next 240 years, roughly, every president who was elected came into office with Jupiter and Saturn conjunct. That's what happened when he came into office. The zodiac, is divided into 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water. And so for about 240 years, Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in an earth sign every 19 and a half years. Okay, so that's what happened. So he set in motion. Then every president after that died in office until Reagan. And then a strange thing happened that only occurs about every 960 years. The cycle flipped out of the earth and into the air temporarily just for Reagan, so he could survive the assassination attempt. And so that kind of broke the cycle.
The fact that we have a vice president vice president elect from Indiana, does that have any effect with the Harrison thing?
That's connected quite a few dots. That's connected quite a few dots there, Larry. I can't say one way or the other, right? But that's kind of a cute connection there,
Well, Norman, you told me you know everything, so I have to assume you're correct.
You found one thing I didn't know. There you go.
Oh no, we've known each other too long.
Anyway, so that's pretty much
been there and done that too many times.
Anybody wants to go Wikipedia and you punch in Tecumseh's curse. They also call it the curse of Tippecanoe, and that's because it's called the Tippecanoe because the big river in Indiana, as you know, Larry, because you grew up on the Wabash River. When it gets up to just northeast of Lafayette there's a little branch off the Wabash called the Tippecanoe River, and where it branches there, that was where the Indians had their village.
Wow. Sure had a lot of fun back there in old Terrible Holt. I love that place. I still do. My sister's still there, but they were right again. They picked the president this year for 20 times in a row now or something?
If they got the longest record, I think they missed twice in 130 years or something like that.
Wow. Yep. I think I voted for most of those 130 years, but I'm not sure. Hey, listen, I want to thank you for making a cameo appearance today. We'll have you on right after the first of the year, okay, my friend?
You bet. And think about Thursday.
That will be
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. And if anybody wants to get a hold of me, you can call me. I'll be around late afternoon today. And I'm in Florida, Eastern Time, 239-594-3939. Or you can Skype me at norm.winski. Or you can email me at nwinsky, NWINSKI, at embark, is EMBARQMAIL.com. Then we'll get you set up for the January letter, and get you ready for what I think could be. I'm working on January now, and it looks like we're going to have some huge moves in January.
This is what I like to hear. And by the way, if the top doesn't come in, and we want to wish you the best of luck, because we will not have you on as a guest any longer. You understand that, correct?
Yes, sir, but I'm not worried about that.
Hey, listen, buddy. Happy New Year to you. If I don't speak to you,
too.
we'll have you on right after the first of the year.
Happy New Year to you, Larry, and your family, and all your listeners out there. And looking forward to being on your show again next week.
Thanks a lot, pal.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Maybe you want, okay, thanks a lot. Bye.
Oh, you bet. Bye-bye. Norm Winsky of Astro Trends. Some of the astrology stuff gets a little bit out of whack sometimes, but that guy really knows his stuff, as along with some of the other guests that we've had on. So the problem is that it's only probabilities. It's never 100%, and that's always a difficult thing to do. But Norm is very, very smart in a lot of different areas, as are some of these other folks that we've had on, as you well know. Now, I wanted to get back to the markets here to talk to you about the euro, because I have some information that I think you'll enjoy anyway. But if you remember this chart that we were looking at here on the euro, if you'll take a look at this, you'll see this is the longer-term version that we're looking at going back over the past year. Actually, it's about just about the for 14 months. As you can see, we have a really strong pattern with an ABCD and everything forming down here at around par. But what I wanted to do is to go in and talk a little bit about the harmonic numbers. Oops, I thought I put that up. Let's just put this up again. Well, I guess I didn't get it up here. Hold on, let's put it up here again. This is the euro, okay? And what I wanted to do is to go into a little talk about these harmonic numbers and vibratory numbers that I talk about in my books. Basically, what I'm going to do now is take the last 6 weeks of the euro, and all I'm going to do is you're going to see these little red boxes that are there. These are the number of times that the euro has moved 150 pips. You'll see in the middle there, sometimes it moves 2 times 150 or 3 times 150, but then again, it gets back into the 150 point range there, and you'll be able to see it. But if you go back and look, you'll notice here that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times it made those 150 point moves over that 6 weeks period. So there's something there that you should really sort of pay attention to. Now, if you take a look at what's happened over the last few days, and what you do with a harmonic number is you cut it in half to see, because that's a half vibration. And if you look at this, you'll notice that as you watch the euro performing here, you'll see that since December 18th, it's been moving in 70 pip increments. And if you add those 70 pip increments together, you form ABCD patterns and also Fibonacci numbers. And that's what we're looking at as we're watching some of these things. And this is why we were talking about this yesterday, because we were saying how bearish the euro actually looked. And so what you want to do is you want to take it and go out one step further, and let's just get where it is, because I'm going to have to take a break here, I guess, and then I'll bring it back right afterwards, and we'll take a look at it up to date. 877-927-6648.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
It's 2016, and TFNN has a brand new programming lineup to kick things off. Starting January 4th, Swim Lessons by Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade will be airing 5 days a week at noon Eastern Time. Join hosts Scott Connor, Kevin Hinks, and Cindy Faber as they host their daily options program live at noon 5 days a week with no commercials for the entire hour. Nico DeHaan and Paige Clark will be moving their program, Living a Primal Lifestyle, to twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 a.m. until 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Wake up with Nico and Paige and start your day off right. The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour by Nadex will now be live Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Start and end the week with the three hosts, Tom O'Brien, Tommy O'Brien, and Daryl Martin, as they break down the world of trading binary options and spreads. For all the details on the new 2016 programming lineup, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Catch the Money Masters as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to trading and investing. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks, and the last chart that I've posted into the Tiger Dan shows the last several days of the euro with this very weak rally. Again, you'll see that it made 150 pips. That's the 9th time, actually the 10th time that it's done this over the last 6 weeks. In other words, all of the rallies have been related to 150 pips. Even the really big ones that went 300 and 450 were related to 150. And then, of course, as we move down to the half harmonic, which is 70, then you'll notice that. The reason why these harmonic numbers are important, back in 1976 when I was at Drexel, Jim Twentyman came to work with me in 1978 as my assistant, and we worked side by side for 4 years there at Drexel. And shortly after his arriving there, we bought a computer. And this was a very, very expensive computer. And I don't remember it was Japanese, but I certainly don't remember the name of it. But it was ridiculous priced. It was like $17,000, which was a lot of money back in the 70s. And Drexel was kind enough to pay for it because they were really strong believers in the computer industry, and we were going to do a lot of research with numbers, of which, of course, Jim did. And what we would do is we would run sequences of numbers from the exchange. We didn't have Forex at that time. We didn't have access at that time, but we did have all the commodities, and we were running harmonic numbers on beans and corn and wheat and gold and silver. And we started to see that there were certain sets of numbers that would come up. Like in gold, you'd see $36 and $18 a lot, and then you'd see expansions of that from 36 out to 40 when it would make a 1.618 expansion. And when you put all these numbers into a spreadsheet, you would see the bell-shaped curve that most of these lined up within the first 2 standard deviations, and that's how Jim came up with this concept of harmonic or vibratory numbers. And the reason why it's so important is because if you go past a harmonic number, for instance, at 150 in the euro, that's telling you that this market is most probably going to go to 2 or 3 harmonics beyond that. That would be 300 or 450. So that would be a good way of using your stop. Now, for shorter term trading, what you do, you go down to yes, Mr. Twentyman is one clever dude. And but if you go down to a half harmonic, 70 pips, and you can go down to a quarter harmonic, which is 35 pips, that's what you can use when you're trading, the euro on a shorter term basis. You can use a 35 pip stop because that's a very, very important number. If we did this on a 15-minute chart, you'd see 35 and 70 pop up all the time. So that's why these numbers are, relatively very, very important. So we'll see, how they do wind up, and we'll go from here. Probably, I got 2 more emails last night about the Dow 20,000. Folks, that doesn't mean very much in my opinion. And all you have to do is go back and look at any of the round numbers, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,000, 17,000, who knows but it's just a round number. The patterns and the ratio is it's what's really important. That's the main thing, to do that, and that's what I think is the important thing. Now, I've had a request from one of our listeners about the stock of NVIDIA. I don't do anything about this stock, but I wanted to show you this stock today because it is making. This is a weekly chart here of NVIDIA. Let me get the chart up, and you'll see that it is in the process of making breakaway gaps. If you'll notice, over the last year, we have an ABCD pattern that was a 38% retracement. Took about 4 weeks. That was right into the election, and since that time, the stock has gone up another 40%. And we are leaving exhaustion gaps up here. The $64 question is, how much more are you going to see? But this is usually how moves end, as we've heard from our good friend Sir Isaac Newton. But it's not always, not always that case. What's important here, if you look at this stock, if you look at it at the beginning of the year last year, the low from 2015 to the low in January of 2016 was a perfect 61% retracement. That was the ideal time, to enter the market. And you can see it had a huge range that week. It went from 24 to 32, so it had a 25% range in 1 week, signaling that it wanted to go a whole lot higher. And of course, this has been one of the most productive stocks in the stock market over the past, this past year. But remember, what we've seen here since the election is certainly an outlier event. Whether it has anything to do with the Tecumseh curse or not, I don't know. But and I'm from Indiana. I was born and raised there, and I knew where the Tecumseh River was because it was a tributary of the old Wabash, where I used to swim in that thing, and that was when it was clear. But anyway, the main thing is that these are just cycles, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That's why we use the patterns and the ratios together to try to get us an entry point into these things, and that's what's really really good. And if you get down to anywhere near 60%, you're going to be usually pretty well off if you're able to do that. That's the thing that I would suggest you kind of look at, because that's really what we're watching here right now. The main thing this week is what Norm mentioned, that this is a holiday type week. Here we are Wednesday already. Friday is going to be a really slow day. And then, of course, we got the New Year's coming in, which is going to be, very, very interesting. That'll be on January the 3rd will be our first trading day. And if you remember last year, January the 4th, let's just put this up to remind everybody, because of this January effect that we've heard so much about in the news and also from here. And we'll take a look here. You'll see that in January of last year, we had that big break that started on January the 4th that took us into February 16th. It was a really strong 6-week move down, and then we went up into the move right before Brexit. And of course, Brexit, you can see the ABCD pattern in the world stock markets. They stopped right at the 61% retracement of that move, and then we've had a pretty good move, up since that time. And it's been accentuated, of course, by the situation that we have here with the election, with the banking stocks, taking everything up so much in the Dow. Folks, more than 30%, 25% of that move in the Dow was Goldman Sachs. If you throw in J.P. Morgan and Transamerica and one other one that's a banking stock in there, you're going to be more than 30% of the move in the Dow Jones was accentuated by, the banking stocks, where the people are assuming that the Dodd-Frank bill is either going to be repealed or watered down very, very strongly, or we have some other new bills coming out. And remember I think it was 90, whatever it was, I don't remember when Clinton did it, but he repealed the Glass-Steagall Act, that was done in 1936, I believe, that prevented commercial banks from doing investment banking. And that's what took these banks, to the moon. And that's why his wife was able to get these wonderful speaking fees that, were pretty good, $600,000 for 45 minutes. I'd do it for a lot less than that. Let me think of what my cost would be. Well, anyway, it would be very interesting to take a look at this, so watch it. So 877-927-6648.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're going to take a quick look here at the wheat market because we're over this new moon. I really thought that it was going to bottom today. Bottomed yesterday. We made a lower low than we did back on December the 1st by 0.5 cent in wheat. That's where we closed, and then we opened a little bit higher yesterday and promptly rallied, 16 cents. What we've done so far is we backed off to the 382 level at 404 in the wheat. Folks, this could be something really big in this wheat market because we've been down since October. All the news is bearish in wheat. It's a little more bullish, of course, in beans and some of the other things. But Also, in the corn is also a little more friendly. But anyway, there's a possibility here. That's all I'm going to bring to your attention here because of this big move that we had coming off of this lunar cycle, which is one of the most easy to predict. And it usually is a very interesting thing, to keep an eye on. Now, we've had a little bit of a sell-off this morning. I know it's probably people are kind of surprised, but remember, part of the January effect is that this market needs to be higher between the 23rd of December and January the 3rd. And if it's not, that's a very, very negative thing, as we saw last year, because right after that, the market was down 6 weeks. So watch this. Remember, it's just a probability and it's just a seasonal, so none of these are etched in stone, as we already know. So keep a very good watch on that. And also we need to watch the euro, because below 103 certainly sets up par, which is 100, and that doesn't mean it's going to stop at par. It could go back to where it was, back in 1999 when it was 85. So, and it's been there twice. The euro's been 85 twice over the last 20 years. So these have some really big moves here in some of these currencies, and that's what we would like to see, because it gives us volatility. And with pattern recognition, we live on the volatility. That's the main thing that we're going to be watching. Right after the first of the year, we'll have Norm Winsky on. We're going to have, of course, Shane Smulyan, and also Bill Meridian will be on, as well as Stan Hartley. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.